Hey bitches, it's Novelist Dean back at it again with yet another video. I would like to apologize in advance for all the video audio sounding different. I'm combining an old video's audio that I made I bet like 2 months ago, and a recent voiceover that I'm creating right now. So this video is basically a combination of all the books I read in May all the way up until this September, except for maybe August because I did several videos in August discussing the books, but some of them I didn't mention and I didn't make a video for them. But I will only discuss the books that I completed, and I'll very briefly just mention that I'll create separate reviews for probably 2 books, I think. So yeah, there's that. But first, let's discuss any and all readathons that I participated in these past few months. A quick tale of failure and fun, okay? So back in May, I participated in the Asianathon created by Read with Sydney. I failed, okay? I only completed 1 book, and it left me in a reading slump despite the fact that I love the book, okay? I love that book. Makes me cry all the damn time. Anyway, in July, I participated in the Funkathon created by Nora Reeds and the Reading Rush. I believe it was called the Booktube Rush last year, but I never heard of it until like this year. So I'll have to say, for the Funkathon, I completed 6 out of 10 challenges. But man, the Nora add like a whole bunch of books to my TBR. Like she has a playlist, and I'll like list it down below, I believe. So there's that, and check her channel out. And the Reading Rush. It's my first time ever participating in this readathon. It originally was, yeah, I already mentioned that, it was called Booktube Read Along. So I only completed 4 out of the 7 challenges. Okay, and then we got August. I had the POC-a-thon fail, maybe except for like 1 challenge I completed, but that's because it overlapped with Mythathon, which I also completed. I was on Team Earth. I hated the team book. Thank God for double speed on audio. I combined the 2 prompts from other teams like Team Fire and Team Air, which mostly had to do with a hotly anticipated book and an LGBT character. And I completed those as well as 4 out of 5 prompts from my team. For September, I read. For September, I was part of the Monster-a-thon. I completed all the prompts except for the one dedicated to, I believe, I actually did completed the. No, actually, I read the group story for the conspiracies and the haunts, but I didn't complete like the prompts for the conspiracies and the haunts, which is when you had to like read like a book with the undead and everything. Yeah. Anyway, I completed for the Throwback-a-thon, which was like my favorite readathon. Like I had more fun on Instagram than ever, so follow me on Instagram. But I completed 3 of the 6 of the reading prompts and did 13 out of 14 Instagram prompts, which was so much fun. I spent more time rediscovering books that I've read in the past and books that I wanted to read in the past but never got to, okay? So that's it for all the readathons that I participated in. So I'm just going to continue on with the audio from the other video that I made. Bye. So I read The Love and Lives of Roxana Ali. Quick story. Roxana, she's a Muslim and she's lesbian. One day, she got caught kissing her girlfriend. Her mother found out, slapped the girlfriend. That was very shocking. And next thing you know, she got tricked and sent to Bangladesh, where she can't really go back until she gets married. So yeah, there's that. This is very triggering. Okay. It was for me, and I cried quite a bit. I gave this book like 5 stars. Despite me putting me in the reading slump. My whole problem is that I wish that Roxana did this for herself, because there was moments where she and her girlfriend was about to break up, right? And all I kept wondering is, you're doing all of this for your girlfriend because Yes, I understand that. But at the very same time, I wish that you did this for yourself, not because you wanted to get back, because there was a moment where you guys weren't talking to each other and it devastated you. Like, I never want you to be so upset, hung up over a girl. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a female, where you're doing things for that person. I understand that some people do that and like they ended up better for it despite them breaking up, but either way, they ended up staying together either way. But like, yeah, I just wish that was the case for her, where she did it for herself and for her own education, because she was being prevented from going to school and all that. So there's that. These past few months, I managed to get through all of the McClean Brothers series from Alexandria House. Um, I even read the novella that has to do with the sister. I just have to say, Thomas is like my favorite man out of all of them. He's not a brother, but he's like their brother-in-law because of what happened in the novella, and he just warms my heart. Like all the heaviness. Anyway, let me just stop. Either way, I had a fun time with the series. Most of them were shocking, but I did notice that later on in the series, like my excitement for it kind of diminished a little bit, because it seems like the plot was rushed, and I noticed that like the pages got shorter. Like most of them, like I think, yeah, pretty much after the first book, most of them have become like 201 pages or 203 pages. So everything was kind of rushed. Of course, everything is insta love in this and lust and all that. It's erotica. What did you expect? But I really love the drama of the first book, especially with the baby daddy and the baby mom. And here's the thing, I don't care much for the whole kids and everything. Hence why I really love the third book, because Bridget and Nolan, they actually don't want kids. So, but that's a whole nother topic for another video, because I want to discuss the third book of the series. Okay. Also, throughout these past few months, I've read the entire Fables series. Actually, from series, the comic book series number 15 all the way to the end, including the comic books in between, like the Wolves of Heartland and everything like that. But either way, if you want to see my whole entire rant on that, I actually did a 22 something video about it. I'm so disappointed. That's all I got to say. And I have to say that I am in fact lenient on some of the stuff, on quite a few things. There was a few plot holes that I was like, what the hell? Some of it was too damn easy, and the ending of such a great premise of such a great series felt cheap. The next book is The Mothers by Britt Burnett. So here's the thing. This book is about like three people, two women, one guy. There's a secret that might tear them apart. The two girls are friends. One of the girls have a past with the other boy, and the other girl has a future with this boy. Anyway, it's a slice of life. I don't like it as much. I gave it like a 3-star, but I bumped it down to like 2.5. The best way to describe my feelings is, if you were watching a Lifetime movie, you watched a bit of this movie, you flipped the channel because you got bored, you completely forgot about it because you saw something more interesting, aka another book that you found more interesting than that book. Then a few months or probably a few weeks later, you're watching Lifetime again. And now you're like, oh, I've seen this book. I've seen this book before. I've seen this movie before, okay? And then let me continue watching where I left off, because I still remember bits and pieces. And you realize that, oh, this is kind of dramatic. Some parts were lackluster. But that's basically it. That's There's not that much I could say about the book, because I didn't like it as much. There were some parts that annoyed me, like with the church ladies, but then again, I grew up in a church, so there's a lot of things that annoys me about the black church. But honey, that's a whole nother video. Anyway, I feel like maybe if you grew up in that environment and you don't mind it, then yeah, sure, go ahead, because especially with the rumor mill and everything, I just couldn't, girl. I just couldn't. Anyway, that's like a 2.5 stars for me. The next book we have is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nag, or Nihang. I don't know. Child. Okay, so this is the first book of a series. I'm perfectly fine with just this book and the ending. I remember giving this like, I don't know, a 3.5 stars. Here's the thing. So there's this society with an evil emperor who takes paper girls, and paper girls are these humans who are chosen to be the emperor's concubines. And of course non-consensual. So two of the paper girls fall in love. Well, actually, this is more insta love, but I love the lesbian relationship nonetheless. So there's something else going on in the castle at the same time, but basically these girls are trying to just damn near survive. And I like how there's like a warning sign for rape, molestation. There's even like a phone number that you can call that the author included into the book. So if you're a sexual assault survivor, you can call that book. I mean, not the book, call the number. Jesus. Anyway, there was just, here's the thing. I wish that it was more genuine with the love, but hey, it's into love, and we see them so many times in other YA, so why not this one? The plot I actually liked, and I was quite satisfied with the ending. Like, I feel like if this was a standalone with that ambiguous ending, I would have been perfectly fine. But since they are continuing on with the series, personally, I'm not going to continue on with the series. And to be honest, the main character, she's kind of special because she's a human, but like her eyes are golden like a demon's. And I really like the world building in this. Like, in my head, I can imagine this world to be so beautiful, but then again, also cutthroat because of the environment that they're in. And it's so interesting. Like, the cast, like, you got the humans, then you got the demons, then you got the middle part who are like humanoid, demonoid mixed with human. They're not really mixed with human, but they have human-like features a bit. Either way, I really like the world building in this one. But there was this one paper girl. I know this is going to be hella controversial. I just know it. But I just got to say, when I was reading this girl filled me with so much dread. Okay, now here's the thing. The paper girls come from different backgrounds. Some of them are rich, some of them are poor. So I understand for this one paper girl, I think she's the youngest, and she also came from a poor background, just like the main character. This girl, there was like, each time that there was an interaction, I cherished it, but then it started to turn sour when she became was chosen to be the concubine for the king, right? For just that night. And all I kept thinking, I know that probably she's suffering from Stockholm syndrome, trying to convince herself that what's going on, it's better because she said, look, he feeds us. He's giving us jewelry and stuff. Like, maybe if you be kind to him, he'll, and all that. And she said that she was in love with the emperor. What? My nigga, I'm sorry but my nigga, what? You're in love with the emperor? Like, I was so scared. And like, the thing is, the main character told her best friend, aka the one who's in love with the emperor, the rapist, that she was in love with the other girl. And I think the other girl figured it out on her own, but like, she got told anyway. And all I kept thinking is like, no, I'm sorry, but in this environment, this is cutthroat, bitch. You might as well kill her. I have a feeling that she's gonna snitch on you. And I know she's probably suffering from Stockholm syndrome or something, but I'm sorry, she got to go. She has got to go. See, if I was a paper girl, and she started telling me that, even though she's like my friend, and I will feel mad hurt. In fact, I'm kind of tearing up as I'm thinking about this. You can't really see my face, but I'm tearing up about this because all I kept thinking is like, damn, I'm going to have to kill you because he might snitch on us. Like, she is mad close with and I know, I don't know. Y'all, if you are going to read the second book, let me know about that girl. I know it starts with an Aoki, I believe. But if you tell me what happens with that character, because she scares me. each time it's like my heart kept like beating. Like I kept thinking like she's a snitch. She's gonna start telling on everybody because in this society, lesbian and gay relationship aren't allowed. And I don't know, maybe because I've been in like a similar situation where like no, like back when I was in the closet, but not really. It was kind of similar to that, but not really. Anyway, the paranoia that I'm having with this girl is like crazy, off the charts. But I probably won't read it until like read the second book until like a whole bunch of other people started like talking like you have to read this. But I'm perfectly satisfied with the ending. I'm shocked that the main girl doesn't have powers because either way, I'm whatever. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the ending, and I don't mind it staying that way. So yeah, that's it with that book. Now on to the next book, which is The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. So I own the entire trilogy, which includes, of course, the 3 books and the novella. Here's the thing. I'm gonna have to give this book a second chance because I don't know. Like there were some parts I like, especially that one character. So there's this like god who is basically acts like a child, and he's so sweet. And like when a certain bad thing happened to him, I was like hurting. Like my poor baby, don't mess with my kids. Like I mean, even though he's like probably thousands of years older than me, like I care about this. But like I'm gonna have to like reread this damn book. That whole entire series since I have like the thick ass book. Okay, on to the next book. The next few books, mostly in July, I read The Lorax and How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. I gave both books 5 stars. The Lorax, I liked how it approached deforestation. Meanwhile, How the Grinch Stole Christmas is still, till this day, my favorite book, and The Grinch is still one of my favorite green people, next to 1956 Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty and Shigo from Kim Possible. I watched every adaptation of this book except for that one made in 2018, but I plan to. Now that I think about it, to be honest, I remember thinking that the 1966 version of The Grinch was cute. So that really showed my mentality, my mentality as a damn kindergartner. To this day, I still don't know why I'm fascinated by green people. So y'all can just blame it on the true Capricorn Maleficent for that shit. Okay, not Angelina, but the green one. So the next 2 books I read was from the David Bach trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. The 3rd book comes out next year, and I'm so fucking excited because this is like my new favorite trilogy / series. Anyways, and those books are thick, and I plan to reread them. So I gave both of them 5 stars, obviously, but here's a description of the first book so you're not as spoiled, okay? In the 18th century Cairo, Egypt, an orphan by the name of Nahuri, a thief and a scam artist, doesn't believe in magic despite her ability to heal, understand any language, as well as speak a language nobody has ever heard of. But one day she fucked up. Not only did she attract evil creatures, but she also summoned a warrior jinn by accident. See, this is why y'all hoes don't scam. See, this is exactly why you don't scam hoes, okay? That's it. Anyway, now she must go on an unexpected adventure to the otherworldly magical city of Brass. But the city is not what it's cracked up to be. Some people who've read the first book says the first part of the book is a bit slow and there's a bit of info dumping since the MC is still learning about the world of Jinn just like how we are. But personally, I loved every minute of it. I suggest you look up reviews from people who are Muslim since some characters are Muslim and participate in activities based on that religion. There are some people who are unhappy with the Muslim representation faith-wise in the world building aspect, which is understandable since the Arthur is a white woman who was Catholic, but she converted to Islam in her teenage years. So take that info and other people's reviews and do as you will. This book, apparently, according to the author, was a historical fanfic. She originally intended to be a historian specializing in the Middle East, but due to financial reasons, didn't do that. Don't know if she still intends to on doing that. Now that she has all this money, so maybe she can be like Deborah Harkness, the author of Discovery of Witches trilogy, which I got like halfway through, like I think the second book. Actually, one third into the no, I made it 2/3 into the second book, and I need to look for them. Anyway, which by the way, that book is going to be a show adaptation. But either way, she could be like a historian and make books on the side. That's my thoughts. But this book has everything that I'm looking for. Okay, like it has all POC main MCs, political intrigues, fantasy, um, romance, hinted love triangle later on in the second book, morally great characters that I have mixed feelings for, and dope ass world building. Like I love the magic system. The inner turmoil in this book reminds me of some of the conflicts between the correct me if I'm wrong, the Sunni and the Shia, which is the two branches of Islam. But I'll have to re-educate myself since about that, since I remember learning about it in a unit we did back in AP World History. But since it's been a long time since I've been excited for a book series, I can't wait for the final book to come out. I hope that there's a novella somewhere. In fact, I'm looking for books that are so similar to this, but just so I can keep myself occupied for the last book. I own the ebook. I already told you this and everything. I practically own every format of the Zam book. Okay. The next book that I read, well, actually, the next few books I read is the Reluctant Royal series. I practically read every last book of this series except for the novella with I forgot it. The cover shows oh god, it shows Portia's twin sister who's in a wheelchair and an Asian man. And I think with their story, the Asian man kind of through YouTube helps her sleep through ASMR, and he for some reason shuts down his YouTube channel and trying to hunt her them. I don't know, child. I have yet to read that book, but I read all the other ones. The first book, I gave it like what, a 3 stars. It's mostly because like I really love what I like about all of these is that all of these are strong black women who have their own careers and going, like they have their own goals going. Like the first girl, not Lakutsky, Laletti, she is an orphan, but like she's going into STEM and she's already in a graduate program for this. So she's on her grind, okay? And of course she got distracted. Well, she wouldn't let herself get that distracted by Dick, but you know. And then you got Portia who's into sword making. She got ADD and everything. Then you have Lakutsky, who's the assistant. She has her own novella, and like that Haitian representation had me like crying in my feels and everything. And what I appreciate about that novella is that they did not fade to black, because a lot of times when it comes from lesbian sex, they just want to fade to black and shit. Like no, 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 no. So I appreciate the author for not doing such a thing. And then like that one choking scene, that one choking scene in like the second book, child. And I gave the second book like 3 stars. I think I gave the novella 3 stars as well. But out of all of these, I won't say anything yet because I haven't read like the second novella. But honey, when I was done with like the second book, I was already ready for for the third book, because there's this character um who's a prince, who's I'm really excited about because I love his personalities since he was briefly mentioned and showed up. And the relationship between him and, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The relationship between him and oh god, I cannot believe I'm forgetting her name. Either way, when it comes for the third book, I do think that you might have to like read the first book to know what's going on, because it has something to do with the main character, the main love interest of the third book, who's the cousin of Laletti. But they're like my favorite couple out of all of them. Like, oh my goodness, like they're so honest with each other, and like his family with his brother. Um there's just so in like and then I like the non-binary representation. It's just oh my goodness, honey, like they are my favorite couple forever. Like, oh, anyway, I really kind of hope that we see more of them. Like, briefly mentioned, just like how we learned that Portia and her man got engaged in like the third book. Either way, I hope something like that happens, because I love them so fucking much. Okay? Anyway, now that I'm done gushing, let's continue on to The Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl by Issa Rae. I gave this 3 stars. I was reading this last year, but I stopped because I wasn't into nonfiction last year. I picked up this book because a lot of, dare I say, a certain type of hypocritical black men were angry on Twitter about a passage where she was talking about how a black woman should get with Asian men. And when she lists the reasons why, which when I got to that part of the book, I was like, I don't see the lie here. I mean, hey. But so long as you're not like putting down your race, but I really did not see the lie in her statements. Anyway, there was some huffing though through my nose, since they how should I say? I wouldn't say like there was some laugh out loud moment, but most of it was like huffing through my nose because I'm laughing in my head moments. A whole lot of those. There were some key parts that I like, others I didn't. I kind of wish that it was in chronological order since it's about her life. Anyway, I'm proud of my fellow Capricorn. She's doing so well with her new shows, and she's starting all these new projects that I'm hearing about. Some of these are remakes. I have mixed feelings about remakes, but you know what? So long as she's getting that paper, I'm happy. And she's engaged. Oh, my fellow Capricorn. Next book that I read was You by Carlene Kerpens, I think. Anyway, there's a show that's going on. I know that some people like it, some people are creeped out by it. Either way, I decided to read the book first. I'm not sure if I'm even gonna watch the show because I'm perfectly satisfied. Anyway, so I gave this 3 stars. I like how the narrator was untrustworthy. I found myself feeling annoyed when Joe was annoyed, and then have to snipe out of it. Like hell, at least I learned how to be a lot more observant of my surroundings because of Joe. Okay, his attention to detail is reluctantly admirable, to be honest. I wish that I was shocked about the turning points with the plot, but sometimes it fell flat. I'm satisfied with the ending. However, I'm not sure if I want to continue reading the next book to see if he gets caught or if the next girl surprises us and Joe. Joe is like a mix between a nice guy syndrome and incel like attitudes. I hope that came out correct. Anyway, August, I read a lot of books, and I also made a lot, well, not that much videos, but a few wrap-ups in August, so I'll link them down below and only mention the books that I hadn't mentioned in those videos. Starting with To Kill a Kingdom, I absolutely don't care for that book. I gave it 2 stars. It's supposedly an area retelling. I should have known because I'm not into Little Mermaid like that. I'm not into, to be honest with you, when it comes for like the sea and everything, I'm really not that into it at all. Like, I don't know. Something about the sea and water settings in books makes me like like snore and shit. I don't know why. And even when it comes from movies, like if you're on the sea, it doesn't matter if it's even for survival and everything, where you're like stranded and shit. And like, no, I don't know. I don't know. And it's just that I love water. I love swimming in water, but I don't know why. But why it seems like it doesn't matter how acclaimed a book is, if there's like a water scene for the majority of the book, rather they're in the ocean or something, or like they're pirates or something, it's not my genre. I'm not going to read it. I should have known. I should have skipped out, but I wanted to complete the challenges for Mythathon for Team Earth. Another book that I read was Addicted by Zane. It's a standalone. I give this 3 stars. I like some of the sex. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the sex was okay. The plot, I don't really care for it, but basically a married woman who's a sex addict. I don't know. It probably would have been a higher rating if she was a sex addict with her husband. But then there was a reveal, and I know that there's a movie, but I don't care for the plots. Next book, Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. Apparently this is like the Black Bridget Jones Diaries or something. I saw some bits of that white movie, but I don't care for it too either. So I read through all of it. It's completely torture. I gave this 1 star. I know that this book would have been good for maybe certain Black women out there who has been in her shoes, but I don't know. She reminds me of a very, very particular type of Black man who seems to be getting on, who's, I don't know, child. I don't want to go there. I do not want to go there. Okay, that's for another day and another time. Anyway, um, let's see. Let's see. I also started, well, I actually read Stay With Me by Alexandra House. I don't like it. I already mentioned in like another video how the audiobook, I don't like the man's voice. But I gave it 2 stars, and I again, I really love these books where it shows Black women on their grind having a fun career. In fact, the main character is a YouTuber, a natural hair guru, and yeah, and I really appreciate the fact that, the audiobook is read by a married couple, but at the very same time, I don't care for the male's voice. Okay? But if you want to check it out, go ahead. I really want to continue on with the series to see if it gets better for me, but yeah. Um I also read, oh my fucking god, I also read The Poppy War by R.F. Kong. That's a 5 stars, honey. Oh my fucking god. Like, there's so much to say about that book. All I gotta say is that I'm really, really fucking happy that I joined the bandwagon. Like, I understand now why it's so hyped up. I love it. Like, the war arc, I understand that some people weren't satisfied with her training section because it felt like it was rushed, but I feel like unlike other characters when they do that, when it comes for the training section, it we know that Rin, the main character Rin, is a hard ass working character, but I think people would want to see more of that. So there's that. Fair warning, this shit is very graphic. You do not want to read this if you're squeamish. I was listening to the audio. There was this one part when one of her friends, something bad happened to her, rape and everything, and like when she was describing it and like the shit that she was seeing and to what the soldiers did to them, I just had to pause. I had to tear up a little bit and then go right back to the audiobook because my god, you will cry. There's of course there's rape, mutilation, death, gory shit. Like, this is grimdark, okay, honey, and I can't wait to read the second book because I need to know some shit. Okay, so that's enough for August. Check out my other videos for August. Now on to September. So I read the first volume of Naruto. That's like my favorite childhood series. And I also read all three requirements. Actually, yeah, all three requirements. The short stories the Monsterathon challenge. So I read Come Lady Death, the Griffin, and the Monarch. I think that's what it's called. Child, I'll put a picture somewhere. The dot, it's like a mysterious squiggly line, so it's not really a title, but there's that. And I also read oh God, what is it called? Noleti by Nadidi Okrifa. They're all from that one book called the Book of Unnatural Creatures by Neil Gaiman. They're selected by Neil Gaiman, so it's a whole bunch of short stories from that. So I read 4 stories from that one. I also read Undone, which is the 3rd book in the Will Trent series, and Broken, which is the 4th book of the Will Trent series by Corinne Slaughter. I gave both of these books 3 stars. As always, I don't know, maybe it's because like of the mystery within that book that had me, not really all that interested. I really appreciate the backstory with the characters, but like I don't know, when it comes for like the mystery of these 2 books, it wasn't really my jig. Either way, I'm still continuing to read her stuff, and I'm currently reading her stuff as we speak. I also read Beast Made of Night, which is book 1 of the series by Tochi Onobuchi. There's only 2. I gave them 2 stars, to be honest. There's 2 books currently out. I'm not going to read the 2nd book. I don't really care. I like the magic system with like this dude with is basically like a high fantasy version of Nigeria. You got all these people who are the Yaki, and they basically fight people's sins turned into inky monsters, and when they kill it, it turns into a tattoo on them. And Taj, he's definitely one. Some of the stuff was very predictable, especially when it came for the villain. It was quite predictable about it. And of course it was insta love, but I didn't really care enough to read the 2nd book. But I do want to read his other books, that's for sure, just not the series. Anyway, I also read Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Holy shit. So I gave this like 3 stars. I like the political intrigue of this. It's definitely not at all like Hunger Games, so I can see why some people might think that. Gory, death of a loved one. Basically, it's like, I think, yeah, it definitely takes place in the future in Mars. And like I don't know, the world building I really like, and I already have like the 2nd book ready to go. So I definitely want to continue on with the series. And lastly, finally, I also read Black Panther book 7, The Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda Part 2 by Tanashi Coates. I gave that 3 stars. Is basically a continuation of the comic book series. Now I'm very satisfied with it. I mean, it's pretty much average for me, but I'm glad that we got some answers to the previous comic book, because I've been waiting for that shit to come out. Despite my slightly lower rating than I thought I was gonna give it. I thought at most I was gonna give it a 4, but no, it's a 3 for me. But yeah, that's it. Holy shit. Anyway, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, wow. This is long as shit. Bye.